Welcome back to another episode of Live from My Parents' Basement. This is actually a special episode. It is part 2 of the Hugh Pebworth podcast. That is because it was too long to upload the first time, so I had to chop it in half so it would upload faster. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember what we talk about for the second half of this. Not even the second half, it's the second 35 minutes of it. But I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Stuff like reopening down there?
Some things, like there's a couple restaurants in our town that you can eat inside now. I don't know. My parents have loosened up a lot on this just because, we've been going 3 months without doing anything. So it's like they're letting it, because like around here, no one really cares. People are just acting normal. And then like my family is one of the only families that are like, well, can't see your friends for a while. Sorry. But then they've loosened up. And so I get to see my friends now. And even my grandparents, at least one set all along, been like, screw it, we don't care, just come see us, doesn't matter, we get it, I'd rather see you guys. So it's been nice. But I don't know, there's like, I've heard like the death rate, like the infection rate is still going up, but like the death rate has decreased. So some people, there's a theory, and I read this one place, so it might not even be true, that it's losing its potency, but maybe that's just because it's shown that heat and humidity have killed it. But I don't know, it's interesting to see how this will turn out.
It's weird because from my perspective, it looks like the government's basically just like given up on trying to stop it.
You're just, yeah.
Like they did the thing where like they paid people like $1,200 and like did all this like extra unemployment stuff for like to like not work. And then like once that ran out, they're like, fuck it, we solved it. And like it was still there. Because like they did flatten the curve, but they didn't like what you did was like curb stomp it. So they're not like testing enough. They're not like we basically just stopped trying. But like part of the thing, I think like the reason like the death rate is going down is just that like there's a lot of people that have it that we just had no idea had it. Like either didn't have symptoms or like
the numbers don't necessarily tell. It's just hard to see because anyone can have it. Because it's like some people get it. Like my whole family could have gotten it, had no symptoms, and we're already over it. Just we don't know because that's happened to some people. They get it and never even know they had it. They had zero symptoms. It's just it's so screwed.
Even stuff like Florida's like COVID-19 stuff has gone down, but their pneumonia deaths have gone way up.
Yeah.
Like there's been like an extra like 4,000 people have died in pneumonia in Florida. So it's like not hard to put like two and two together.
Yeah.
But like we're just not counting. But I mean, I don't know. It's
hard to like I think that I'm not trying to defend the government because I feel like they could have handled this better. But I just think it got to a certain point to where they should have kept encouraging people to wear masks. I think it's stupid that Trump just wouldn't. Like his reasoning was like, I'm meeting with, people from other countries, important people, I shouldn't wear one. No, because that means people that like you won't wear one. You need to suck it up and not, private, whatever. If you're in front of the television, wear a mask just for 10 minutes. Doesn't matter. You're the leader. You have to set an example. If you're telling people to wear masks and then not doing it, you can't do that. You cannot do that. And he's put in a tricky situation, and I don't think he's handled this the best. Because I think at first people were saying, well, he's downplaying this, and he was. I think part of it was he didn't want to scare people, but you got to raise awareness. So I don't know. I feel like the government could have handled it better, but at this point, I don't know. I think it's at the point to where people are just going to start doing what they want since they've been pretty much.
That's kind of the gist of what I'm saying. Like, you ask people to stay at home and like not go out with the idea that like we would use that time to be better prepared to deal with it in 6 weeks. And so people did that expecting like people like have less restrictions because you would have dealt with it in the time they gave you by like not doing stuff. And then the government just like stuck their thumb up their ass or like just sat there.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, it's not going away.
Yeah.
But you can't market your way out of it. Like there's no way to pretend it's not there. It's just, and like the whole like it's I disagree with the unavoidable. There's other countries that like are less competent or are smaller or have less resources or have worse medical stuff have been able to like stomp it out. Like what you have to do is like Germany, they're playing the Bundesliga because everyone stopped what they're doing for like 2 weeks. They like we didn't even like lock down. We like it was like everyone like please don't go out and like stuff will be closed. They like literally like had like curfews, like you couldn't leave your property, you had to wear a mask, all that stuff. They did that, and like that's what we should have done. But in the time they did that, they got like all their supplies out to deal with it, and then like they let people out, but you like had to wear a mask. You like could only like be in contact with people like you live with, and if you did get sick, they like quarantined you, like actually quarantined you in a building, and then called everyone you're in contact with, and it's like that like kind of stomped it out.
I think another thing is I think people in the United States are very adamant about their freedom. You know, it's we're very fortunate that we live in a country that probably gives more freedom to anything than any other country. But for people to say like, this is on my rights because people are dying. You just need to take a month or two of just not doing things. Look after yourself and others. You know, it's your right to take care of people too. So it's like
you have responsibility to other people.
Yeah, it's like, and like, even if you don't believe in this, if it turns out this was all fake and none of it's real, which isn't true, it is real, but say it did, what's the harm in just being safe to protect yourself, your friends, your family, and other people? If you take care of yourself, you're inevitably going to be taking care of someone else. It's mad. I don't know. That's from a logical perspective. So,
no, that's the thing that like, this is always the thing that like gets me when people are like, oh, I don't trust like the news or I don't trust the government. It's like say it's raining outside, you're like, well, why'd you bring an umbrella here? Like, oh, I saw on the weather. It's like, so you trust them for the weather, but not for like disease or shit? Like, oh, no, blow it over quick.
That's fine.
And I guess the point I'm making is like Americans have like a historical distrust of the government. That's just kind of like ingrained in like America. But like, it's a fucking pandemic. Why would they like their families are being killed by this shit too? Like they're not gonna lie about this shit to like control you. Like that's like there's a group of people who are like, I won't take Bill Gates's like vaccine because it's using him to like mind control us. And it's like, you know, all the shit that Microsoft does, I think if they wanted to like control you, they could have done it by now, and they probably wouldn't invent a pandemic to do it.
It's like, I know you don't like Trump. If Trump's telling you need to stay home and wear a mask and be social distancing, are you just going to ignore him because you don't like him and you don't trust him? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like,
and like what you're saying with you've said this before. I've told you before. I was like, I don't trust I don't trust the government to an extent. You said, well, it's good to have a healthy. It's good to doubt the government to an extent, and this is a case where you shouldn't. And what you were saying about not believing the news, every news network is biased one way or another. Fox is, MSNBC, CNN, whoever. It just is. What I say is, you take information that is the same from all of those outlets, and that's the truth. Any other spin on it, just ignore that for now. You figure that'll come out later. Just find the medium between all of them. That's the truth.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. I mean, I guess interesting thing like bias in media, just because like there is bias, and like if we're gonna like assign it like the major news networks like CNN, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, like certainly like they're left, and like MSNBC is clearly the most left of those. But like, I guess the problem I have with Fox News is it's not like it's a conservative bent on the facts. It's sometimes it is completely deal with like just a different like basis of understanding, like conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
like stuff that's like not rooted in reality, and like that's what bothers me about like comparing like MSNBC to Fox is that, like Fox News is like a right wing network at this point. At least like there's a couple like legit reporters like Brett Baer, Chris Wallace, used to be Shepard Smith, but like Hannity and like Tucker Carlson, like some of the stuff they're talking about is like conspiracy theories. Like if MSNBC is supposed to be like the left wing equivalent of that, they're doing a terrible job because they have like their morning show is hosted by a former Republican congressman. They got a Bush administration official hosting a show in the afternoon. Like, it is a left wing. They have left wing opinion shows, but it's not this. I guess my difference is that like Fox News sometimes has like completely different facts, like just like a different, like the whole like. Have you ever heard about QAnon?
No, I haven't.
Dude, okay, I spend so much time on the internet, but there's this right wing conspiracy theory called QAnon, and basically, it's kind of sad actually, but some people believe that like there's a Q level security clearance, which is the top level of like the Department of Energy. And people believe that like there's someone like inside the deep state that's like pro Trump and is gonna like expose like Obama and the Clintons and like everyone is being part of this like international cabal to like sabotage him. And like there's just some weird shit
Yeah.
going on there.
I
But I don't know.
like I'm conservative. I have some liberal ideas, but I'm mainly conservative. My family's conservative. My community's conservative, but I try to stay open to different things because you should. Since my family will watch Fox News. I don't watch it. I just don't want. There's no point because it's like I don't know. I don't know how much because I'll watch it and I know there's an obvious slant and I probably agree with it. But is that what I should be watching or should I try to be watching something that challenges that or doesn't challenge it and it just gives you what's the fact? Because it's just I don't know. If you're just being fed what you constantly believe, I mean it's good at some extent, but most of the time it's bad for you because you're never learning different things. Because I've gone to college and some of my not beliefs per se, well, I guess some of my beliefs about things have changed just because I stopped just looking at places that I know I'm going to agree with and actually tried to look at things that were like my whole stance on climate change completely changed. I've believed in it. I believe it's caused by humans. When it say 97% of scientists agree on that, why would I argue that? It's just like what why would I argue that? That's just it seems pretty true. Even if it isn't, they're experts. They seem to think it is. So why not just believe in it? What's that hurting? So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess like my thing is like it's fine to have like different like views of like the same situation, but when you talk about like if we're talking about X and like person A thinks A and person B thinks B, well the key thing about that is they both agree that like what the situation is like they agree on a certain set of facts and like if you have that you can debate like the merits of it. But if you don't agree on the facts or you just like invent like alternative reality about it or whatnot, or like you dispute like just basic things that you can see. Like for example, do you follow any of the protests at all?
not much, but I get the gist of it.
So there was like a protest in front of the White House, and there's a church across there's an Episcopal church like lots of presidents have like worshipped at that's across the park from the White House, and like part of it like caught on fire, like it got put out anyway. So Trump decided like 2 weeks ago he's gonna like go visit it.
This is the photo
Anyway,
where he like holds the
just
Bible.
a photo op, yeah. He holds the Bible like it's the most awkward holding of a Bible I've ever seen in my life. Um, but like this is the shit that like I'm talking about. Like, so they had to have like they had to clear out all the protesters from the park so they could walk there. And they're like, and basically what they did is they fired tear gas and like got them all out and whatnot. And like there's videos of like them like beating up like an Australian news crew. But like what I'm talking about is like they asked like the police, like the National Park Police, like who like controls it, like did you fire tear gas? Like no, we fired pepper balls, which are a chemical. We fired tear gas, and it's like, and like they like reporters like went there and like they found canisters of like, where it says like chemical irritant, like pepper ball, like what, like, and it's like, well, we found canisters. What you're saying you did does exactly the same thing as tear gas, but it's not tear gas. Like, like you're telling us like not to believe our eyes and our ears. Like we saw what happened. Like that's the stuff that I'm talking about. Like if you don't have a common understanding of like just reality, you cannot like have an honest debate of like a conservative opinion on it, a liberal opinion on it. Like it's just hard to like.
That's like with because it's all such and way more about news, what's going on in the world way more than I do. I don't keep up on it that much because it's just a headache in all honesty if I get wrapped up in it too much because it's just because I'd never had an interest in politics pretty much till 2016 election, because I just saw how loony both sides of the aisle are. So it's like I have my general beliefs about things, but I admit I'm not educated that much on it. I have my own perspective, but it's just my own perspective, because it's just a mess. It really is on both sides, and it's hard to. I just stick with my beliefs and do what I think's right, I guess, at the end of the day.
What do you think about this year? Like the elections in November?
For the election, let's come down to Biden and Trump. A lot of people say, and I think this is a pretty good reason. Even like I've talked to liberal friends, like more liberal friends within my classes, and they've even said like they'd vote for Biden, but they don't think he'll win. And a lot of like Joe Rogan, who's very liberal, he even said he just doesn't think he'd even vote for Biden, because it just seems like he's going crazy almost. And it's sad because, he's just an old man going nuts. But I think this coronavirus stuff has probably hurt Trump with some people, even conservatives. But I think Trump will end up winning still. And that's not, and I will vote for him, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not sure, in all honesty. I think
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think the thing with Biden is I've listened to him speak. He sounds like he has onset dementia or something. Like he talked about sitting in a swimming pool and the kids play with his hairy legs, and I'm like, odd, but I don't know. I don't know, in all honesty. It's hard for me to follow.
The thing about like the dementia with Biden stuff is like, I think, in my opinion, I think it's just a product of being old. I think our politicians are just too old, and like he's 77. But the thing is, if we're gonna be like, oh, Joe Biden has like dementia, like read Donald Trump's tweets and be like, is that the mindset of a sane man?
That's a valid point. That is an absolutely valid point.
But it's interesting that you say like you've heard people say he's gonna lose, because if you had the election right now, Joe Biden would win he might win 400 electoral votes. Like he is up on average by like almost 10 points in literally every poll, including like he's gonna win Arizona. He has a decent shot of winning Georgia. It's the map is completely shifted. It's super weird. Like Ohio voted for Obama twice, and then like in 2016, like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio went for Trump. I don't like Michigan and Pennsylvania are like the two most left-leaning of those two states, and like Ohio is like a lean Republican state now, as is Iowa, and Wisconsin's kind of the tipping point. But like Arizona has a decent chance of voting blue. Georgia has a decent chance. Texas is nearly a toss-up state. It's weird.
It's just hard. I believe you, absolutely, because I don't follow it. You do, but it's just so hard with that stuff running up. Because even before the 2016 election, so many people were like, Hillary's a shoo-in, Trump's a shoo-in. It's just I don't think it's hard. I think it's just hard to tell until the day comes. And that's my.
The interesting thing about the polling in 2016 is that you're like, oh, they screwed it up. They actually got it right. So this is what people don't realize. So the polling did show her up consistently, and then after like the whole like grab her by the pussy thing, it shifted.
Yeah.
And the last like month or so showed Hillary Clinton winning the popular vote by like 1 or 2%, which is what she did. Yeah. She just didn't do it in the right states. Mm-hmm. So the polling was actually like pretty accurate and pretty good. Like the people that like misread it though, they don't understand that she could win by 2 or 3%. Like she won by 5 million votes and still lost. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about like Trump is he can lose by 8 million votes and still have still win the electoral college. Like that's not like Biden being up. Biden probably has to win by like 6% or 5% to like be comfortable with winning the electoral college.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just so weird. I don't know.
It's so
personally, I can't deal with 4 more years of this. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just all that seems so complicated to me. So I just try not to dwell on it. Just sort of go life. Well,
dude,
go ahead. You go ahead. No.
Oh, I was just gonna say like the one like hopeful thing is that like the whole like George Floyd thing feels like different than like the other ones. Like it feels like people, and it is true because like um the polling on policing and like racial disparity in the United States has completely flipped in the last 5 years. If you ask people the question, do police treat black and white people differently based on their race? In 2014, 25% said yes. It is now up to 60%, including almost half of white people. Um,
Like all of my family, we've talked about it. You have to have cops, you have to have order. I think the defunding the police thing is stupid. I don't agree with that. But I do think there is, I don't know the numbers, but I do think there is cops out there that abuse their power and feel like they can get away with whatever they want. And so like I'm at least with this George Floyd thing, like you were saying, at least there was pretty much consensus across the board. Like there's no gray area. Conservatives, Democrats, liberals, libertarians, Whigs, whatever. Everyone's like, this is a terrible thing. That guy did the wrong thing. All of them should go to prison. Everyone agrees with that. It's just all the Black Lives Matter and police brutality stuff that people are up in arms about and conflicted on. And I think there is police brutality, but it's getting crazy. So I don't. It's hard to. I think the protesting is great and that's their right, but the looting and the violence and the beating up people, I don't know if there's no call for that in my opinion. There just isn't.
it's interesting because I think no one like condones looting or anything like that with the rioting. But on the one hand, I think that was like 1% of the stuff that actually happened. Like in Indianapolis, for example. So like 2 weekends ago, there was like a really big protest, and like that ended at like 8, and like a lot of people left. And then the looting didn't, like the rioting stuff, like with like it didn't start until like 9 or 10. That's like a completely separate like demographic.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just like people just like want to like stir up shit, like smashing windows and stuff. But I think also like like all the protests that have gone, like Colin Kaepernick kneeling, all of like the peaceful protests that like haven't worked. Like at a certain point, you are gonna be like really angry. It's like they're just trying to like right or wrong, like, and like the cops being like police brutality is like especially heinous because they're supposed to be the ones protecting you. So for them to like turn around and like beat up people, and like honestly, like if anything, the last couple of weeks have completely proved the point of like police brutality because by and large, the police responded to protest about police brutality by like tear gassing and beating the shit out of people. Like there's videos of like cops everywhere. Like did you see the video of the guy in Buffalo got pushed?
I hadn't seen that.
A 75-year-old man, like the cops are like moving forward and like 2 cops shove him and he falls back and hits his head, like blood's coming out of his ears. And they keep going. The thing like the good cop, bad cop thing is like I don't think cops are racist. Like I don't think like individual cops are racist or like bad people.
There's going to be racist people, racist cops. It doesn't mean all racist. Yeah.
I think there's like people that like harbor those beliefs. And like some people like who harbor those beliefs are attracted to being like cops or in the military because like you shoot guns, you have to be in charge and whatnot. But I guess my problem is that like so if the bad cops are the ones that do it, are you a good cop if you refuse to report them? If you cover it up? If you don't like basically get rid of them?
I think you have to. I think you're a bad cop if you don't. I think you have to. It's terrible.
That's the thing. They in Buffalo, the two dudes that shoved him got arrested for assault. They went to the courthouse. There were hundreds of cops outside applauding them when they walked out. Like that is a broken system. Yeah. And the thing is that like if there's good cops and bad cops, well, the bad cops aren't being held accountable. Have you ever heard of? I feel like I've talked to you about this, but you ever heard of like qualified immunity?
I don't remember it, but you probably have talked to me.
Basically, in Reconstruction, they passed a law that said you could like sue officials if like they infringe on your rights. And then in the 60s, the courts invented a thing where like cops were exempt to that. So you want to hear a really heinous one? This is last year. Last year, a cop, 2 cops serving a warrant in California, they they stole 250 grand from someone's house, and the person tried to sue them because they stole 250 grand from their house. And the courts gave them qualified immunity, meaning that you can't sue them to get the money back and they just keep it, because your rights weren't clearly established. And since these cases keep getting thrown out, there are no established rights. So there's like a bill in Congress to undo that right now, which is good. There's so much fucked up shit people know about. And there's some interesting like alliances to be had between like libertarians and like progressives on shit, because like a lot of stuff in the United States is just illegal for no reason. And like like the basic problem with like policing is that so much shit is illegal that almost everyone is breaking the law, and you give cops like the discretion to decide who to punish and how to punish them. And inevitably, because they're human, and like because we live in America, there's like biases between like gender and like race. So like black people are more likely to be pulled over. Traffic stops happen to be a place where like they escalate a lot. And so like it's there's just like so much fucked up shit.
Yeah. Well, we're about the hour 20 mark, so I think that we'll just wrap it up there. It's a little longer,
Yeah.
but we usually talk like this. So yeah, well, maybe we can hang out in the next month or so. I'll come up to Indy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I'm in Bloomington. I was down there 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'll let you know. We can like hang out, get something to eat,
Right.
something like that.
Yeah. Hopefully the rest. Well, I got yogis the other day with a friend. It was great.
Yeah, I'll
Like,
probably just sit outside on it. Like I'm probably not gonna go eat inside anytime soon.
yeah. Like I got like it was like a Philly cheesesteak, but it was chicken instead of steak. It was good, really good.
Have you been to Bloomington since?
Yeah, a few times. Like I've gone up because like I've been moving out of because I'm going to a different apartment next year. I've been like moving my stuff out periodically, just like smaller things. And like the other day, Tuesday, I went like hiking at Brown County with a friend, and we got yogis afterwards. So yeah, I've been going up there every once in a while. I have not been going into public places. I'm not doing that. But well, I'm all for wearing masks, but I don't want to wear one. I hate wearing it. I don't want to wear
Dude,
one. So I just
you can do a Walmart pickup, or you do the app a day ahead of time.
yeah,
You just put them back in your car.
we've been doing that all along. Like my parents went to a couple towns over last night, Washington, Indiana, to get our groceries at the Walmart over there. So, yeah, because the one closest to us doesn't have pickup. So, so that's the way we've been doing it. And then my dad will occasionally go to a store and wear a mask, or he won't, and he won't tell my mom or something like that. So,
Yeah, I don't know. Weird times.
very odd. My parents said probably besides 9/11, this is the weirdest thing they've ever lived through.
It's the longest disruption of sports since World War II.
Ugh, I don't like that. I want to watch baseball. I want to watch playoff basketball. I think playoffs would be over by now. Like finals winner probably would have been declared like a week ago. It's just crazy.
Yeah, like right about now, probably.
So weird. You know, I was also thinking last night or the night before when that draft was going on. I kept thinking, wow, if I would have gone on with my dream of being in MLB, this would have been the draft probably. This probably would have been the draft. If I quit.
Oh, only 2 years ago, or it would have been next year.
Huh?
How old are you?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I would have gone to college and played a couple years, I could have been drafted.
Oh, no, but how old are you?
I'll be 21 in August.
Then no, you'd wait till next year. If you turn 21 within 30 days of the draft date, you're eligible. So my birthday is July 6th, so I'd be eligible for this year. So the rule is either
High
school, and if you go to a 4-year college, you either have to be 20, you have to be a junior, or turn 21 within a month of the draft. So I think in your case, you'd have to wait till next year with like most people our age. Whereas I think like the guy the White Sox drafted is like 3 weeks old. It's like 2 weeks older than me. What is it? redshirt sophomore, so he's junior.
It's so weird to like I look at myself who's like 5'7", looks whatever, and then I look at like Zion Williamson who looks like a 38-year-old muscular man, and he's younger than both of us by a year, and I'm like,
And Jaron Jackson Jr. I was older than he was. I was he was in the NBA when I was starting freshman year of college, and I was older than him by 4 months.
that's so weird. It's so weird. It's just like the oddest thing that like people are getting drafted now that are younger than us. It's just the oddest thing.
It's getting old.
It does make you feel old, or like
Yeah,
just makes it reminds you of death, and that's always good.
yeah, like I turned 21 in 3 weeks. It's so strange.
No, it's gonna be
I mean, a junior.
yeah. Like I wanted to go to like the casinos when I turned 21, but I don't know if that's gonna be possible because everything might go to shit, and they'll just go back to closing down everything.
And I'm just hoping for study abroad next spring. I'm hoping they can finesse out a vaccine.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's so
Or like the virus just like nukes itself. Like that's what happened with the last SARS virus. It got too deadly, and it just like destroyed itself.
that could happen. I mean, I keep hearing conflicting things on this. Is this like chicken pox where if you get it once you're done, or can you get it again? Because I've heard conflicting on that all along.
I don't think anyone knows how long the immunity is, but I think everyone is in agreement that you have at least some immunity to it.
Yeah.
For whatever period of time, they're not quite sure. I would imagine it's on the shortest end, a few months, most likely in the range of years, but I don't think they've ruled out the possibility of you getting it again. I think it might be different if you get it again. It might be like the flu, where like if you get the flu vaccine, you can still get the flu, but it'll be like really mild. But there is some immunity to be had.
Okay. Well, I think that'll about do it.
Yeah, that was kind of long.
Well, like the first I did, it was an hour and 45, and I was like, that's a bit long. So we tried to keep it to 40 minutes, and then I don't care. This is like hour 20. That's fine. I don't care. But
Yeah.
thanks for talking. I'll definitely have you back on if you'll let me. So.
Oh yeah, no, dude, not a whole lot going on here outside of class, so I got plenty of time.